Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today I'm going to be bookending the week, whereas I started the week doing pack 1 of the Agora Models U.S.S Constitution. Today I'm going to end the week by finishing pack 1 of the Agora Models U.S.S Constitution. Now, if you remember how we finished on Monday, we basically had put all of these frames in here and I was about to put some grid joist work in by the look of it, which looked quite tricky. So I thought I'm going to save that for a separate thing. Now, I've done that already. I've got it here and I'm deliberately hiding you this so you can actually see it and the process that I went through to actually create that. If you like what you're seeing, you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description and there's also that QR code on the screen. But you'll see today's build is very, very fiddly and I've had to do it over 2 days because it's not an instant thing. Okay, so I'm going to be bringing up this plan again because what I'm going to be doing is creating some supports which are going to go between the frames, and it's basically this one here, number 3, that I'm interested in. And what I need is I need a piece of 5.5 oak. So that looks just like this. Now I've already sanded this down. You do want to sand it just to make sure there's no flashing or anything like that there. What I'm going to be doing is number 3 is putting this between these sections here on the bottom, grabbing a pencil, marking the line, but I'm going a millimeter too big because I'm going to be filing that down because I'm going to need to cut that and I want to file it back so that can fit perfectly. Once I've cut that one, I want to do the same for 4, 5, 6 and 7. So I'm going to be doing the ones just here and here. So I don't actually have a tenon. What I do have is I have all of these parts here we haven't used. So I'm going to be using that to hold this into place here. Now with my saw, long strokes and keep them light. So like this, and I'm just keeping it light. And when that comes off, it should look like that. What I want to do is tidy the end up. So I've got a sanding stick here. Just going to make sure that that's perfectly square. Now you can see why I had some extra on there. So that's looking like that. Bring over the ship that we've been working on. And this is going to be going into the point just here. You can see that's fitting in there perfectly. Now I need to repeat that, as I said, for all of these ones here. And in true Blue Peter fashion, I've already cut these. So let me put them in, just so you can see how they're going to look. Got one there. One here. A very big one at the back. And then finally, this one here. Now, still got to sand a little bit of these, but that is how that's going to be fitting in there. What I want to do is glue these in. And as you can see, I've already got my glue to hand here. So put these in these parts here. And get these all glued in. Now I am just using a cotton bud to take off any excess glue on the sides there. It will dry clear, but I don't want any excess on here. That's good. Right, let's repeat that for the rest. You actually will find that you do need to put quite a bit of glue on here because it does soak into the wood quite a lot. The last thing you want is these to fall out. Looking good. Now some model builders, I know John builds iconic military models. He was talking to me about this build. Are going to be taking off this black charring along the side here. I'm not going to be doing that. It's a lot of work, but I am going to keep that there. I was thinking about staining this to that sort of darkness there as well, but looking at pictures of the internal decks and stuff of the Constitution, I think that will look a bit silly. But I'm going to talk about the staining in a minute because we are going to be doing some staining on this. But let me get all of these in. I think that's looking pretty good. Excellent. Now, in typical World of Wayne fashion, I've missed off a piece, which is this piece here. That's going in this third and fourth one here. It's actually going to be going in here like this. Let me just get that in there. And I do need to glue this into place. Now, if you look on the top camera, that's how it's going to go in there. I will need to glue this down. So let me get this out and get this into place. Now, as you can see, the hole is nearer this side. We've got a larger side here. That's the side that's going towards the rear here. And when I put it in like that, I want to make sure that that hole is center to the keel, as you can see there. But with all of that in, that's all there is to do in that stage. So in the last stage here, we're going to be putting these cross braces into this section here. Now to do that, we do have some little jigs here, which we're going to be putting in. They don't get glued in these. They just help to space these apart when we put them in. So let me just get these off. And these are just going to go into here, and they're going to help to keep these frame pieces horizontal to each other as I put the next parts in. So there's one that side. Let's just put the one in the other side as well. Okay, once they're in place, we're going to be putting some cross beams down here. Now, whereas these were 5 by 5mm bits of wood, we're not using those. We're going to be using the smaller 3 by 3mm bits of wood. And these are going to start making some ribbing that is going down here. So once again, sand this off, making sure there's no flashing on each side here. And then I want to start measuring these out. Now the gap between each section here I've already measured is 1.7 centimeters or 17 mils. So I'm going to be cutting these into 17 mil strips. Now the good thing is, because this is quite thin material, I don't really need a saw for this. I can actually do this with a sharp scalpel. And this is lime wood that we're putting in here. So I'm just going to, I have cut it slightly bigger than it needs to be so that I can sand this down. Keep doing this until I get it to the exact point that I need. And seriously, this is the thickness of a matchstick. As you can see, that's going to fit perfectly in there. So let's glue that one into place. And the most important thing is to check that this is in straight. So I'm going to line up this straight edge here and adjust accordingly. There you go, that's the first one in there. I'm going to put one on this side. There we go, they're in just like that. And again, I'm just going to check how square they are. That's good. What I'm going to do is continue that all the way down here. It is deceiving because of the geometry of it that things look bent and stuff like that. So I've got my flat edge of my ruler here and I'm just checking the distances between each side to make sure that that is straight, because it's going to be very apparent when we start to put the middle ones in. Now the middle ones go in 1.5 millimeters from each side here. So let me start getting those in and I'll show you what that looks like. And there you go. So I can take these off now. I'm not going to need these in because that's all been reinforced now by everything that's going on there. Now what I do need to do is I'm going to need to just sand over the top to smooth that out. I do want to let that dry first though. So it is quite hard. It's really hard actually. It'd be good if this was all in one piece. Not so much getting your straightness down here. It's more to make sure that these, because obviously these need to be flat in here. If they're not, you're going to be getting planks going all like zigzags all over the place here. But as you can see, mine's quite flat. If I put something on top of that there, as you can see, it's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do, let that dry, and we'll come back to that. So, got a sanding sponge here. I don't know what grit this is. 240 is it? I don't know. It's quite abrasive. I'm basically just going to make sure that this is now sanded completely flat. I'm just feeling all of those now That feels absolutely perfect. Okay, I was going to put that to one side because I'm going to stain it now. Now, it does come with its own stain. And this is the satin varnish here. Now, I've had a look at this. I wanted to see what sort of finish it was because I've got my own stains here, which I've been playing with, as you can see. Now, this middle one here is the satin stain that comes with this kit. I prefer this colour. This is light oak. This one here is dark oak. This is what I used on my Orca build with the pier. If I wanted to have a pirate ship or some sort of like haunted ship, I'd probably go for this dark colour. The good thing about that dark colour there is it would hide the burn marks along the side here, as you can see. But because this is the Constitution, I think I'm going to go for this one here, which is a light oak. Now I'm basically painting the whole of the frame right down to the keel here. We're not going to be painting this whole section here or these legs or the mountain base. It's just basically this whole section that we've created so far. Now I'm going to use the brush that they provide. Just so you know, this is a light oak stain that I'm using here. Now as I'm going over this, we don't do these bits. These bits are eventually going to be cut off. I have actually had one fall off already, so this is quite therapeutic. So what I'll do is I will finish doing this whole thing. And there you go. That is how it's looking. As you see, I've stained this as well. I don't think I was meant to stain this grid thing here, but I've stained everywhere else that it wanted me to. We don't stain these bits here because they break off. We don't stain the base. I think it's just these parts either side here. But that was pack one. And you see it does take quite a bit of time, so you can imagine the next stages I'm probably going to be doing a stage at a time depending on how much there is to do. We do still have quite a bit left in the box here, so I need to keep that safe, but there you go, that is pack one completed. I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.